Friday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley here in the top left corner. Then we got Quinn, Alec. We got Ty Bartell, who is hiding from the law. And we got Max Solo down in the middle. And the coach cornering us out in the bottom right. Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors down at the bottom: iSynergy, WRS Wealth Advisors, K Squared Marketing, Myers Family Insurance, Clientele, and of course Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Our sponsors are just unbelievable for supporting us through everything, so we greatly appreciate them. We'll see the sponsors change halfway through the show, and if you'd like to become an advertiser or sponsor of our shows or whatever we do here at YSN, give the coach a call or go ahead and head over to our site, ysnlive.com, click on the advertising tab, and get started as soon as tonight. So here's the thing, guys. Today is National, and this is not very, very interesting to me. It is National Take a Chance Day. So the question I have for all of you is, what is the biggest chance you've ever taken, and did it pay off? Quinn, we're starting with you.
Biggest chance. I don't know. That's tough. I guess it kind of deal with coaching certain lineups, like putting in certain players in certain situations, not knowing if they can handle like that situation. And I've gotten my fair share of successes out of it, and I've definitely been bitten in the ass by it too.
There you go. So I like that, the coaching aspect of it. Alec, what's the biggest chance you've taken?
Well, the biggest chance I think I've taken was, so I'm an Eagle Scout, right? And my Eagle project, it was a pretty big one. Not to brag, but
not a boy.
But that's probably my biggest chance, going so big with it, because I spent like 7 months just on construction and then another 4 on planning for it. So, and it worked out pretty well for me. I got lots of praise for it. So
I like that. Also, Alec, you're looking like the dude from Saved by the Bell today. Looking straight up like, what was that dude's name? Zach Morris? Zach Morris. If you had one of those chunky cell phones, you'd be spot on with it. So let's skip Ty and let's go to Mac. Biggest chance you've ever taken, good or bad?
I think the biggest chance I ever took in recent memory was leaving my former partner and employer to create Max Baseball and to stand on my own 2 feet and kind of continue my path and grow as an individual and as a business owner.
There you go. And it seemed to work out pretty well for you, huh?
So far, so good. No complaints.
I can appreciate that. Ty, biggest chance you've ever taken, has it paid off for you, or did it bite you in the ass?
Well, you know what? I would say my biggest chance I ever taken, and I'm not going to sit here and try to toot everyone's horn, but I'm going to. It was easily when I decided to get back into broadcasting. I was doing communication in school for college for about 2 years, and I decided to call up my old high school teacher and tell her I wanted to get back into sports broadcasting, and that kind of put me through to YSN. So I wouldn't be at the position I am today without taking that chance and changing majors and deciding to go take that on in my life. So yeah, it definitely paid off for me.
That a boy. And we go to the coach.
Yeah, I think mine's going to be pretty easy. For anybody that's ever been a head coach, the biggest chance you take is the first time that you decide, hey, I think I might be ready for this, because that question's floating around constantly. Am I actually prepared for this? Am I ready for the responsibility that comes along with it? I'm not a super young guy, but at the time I was like, am I too young for this? It's a big leap of faith. And I would say it's paid off tenfold, because not only do I love what I do, but I really enjoy working with the kids and get to have, close relationships with them and help them develop into young men.
Love that. That's a great answer. Mine is it's 1 and 1A. One is obviously YSN, the chance that we rolled the dice, my wife and I, and of course Brian and his family, when we started with no idea if this thing was going to work. I mean, I remember constantly thinking for probably the better part of a year, like waking up the next day, are we still in business? Okay, then we got a chance. And then it turned into, the next week, are we still in business after a week? Yes. Okay, then we got a chance. So the support has been fantastic. But when you start, kind of to Mac's point, when you start and you go out on your own, you just never know, because it's a lot of building the plane in the air. And, it was a big risk, but with big risk comes big rewards. Hopefully, and we've been rewarded. Sounds tacky, every day when we're able to make some of the decisions we make and do some of the things we do. Not exactly financially yet, but we're stabilizing that plane too. So we're excited about all the things that are to come. We got some big announcements coming up in regards to what we're doing this summer and what we're doing in this fall. So stay tuned for all of that. We're anxiously awaiting, wink wink, some of the big things for fall. So stay with us, but that is the biggest chance that I took. And the number two is obviously with the girls being a foster family. It's always a risk, because you never know, when things are going to stay or when they're going to go away. So we're still navigating those waters as well. So chances, I like taking chances. I like that game, and sometimes it does come bite you in the ass, but sometimes it's the best thing that you've ever done. In my case, those are the best things, other than marrying my wife, that I've ever done. So, because I know she's gonna be like, "Oh, come on, you don't have to talk about me on the air." And just as we say that, here comes Kate Kelly. Mac's biggest chance is taken, wearing Ursuline apparel to meet my Mooney alum parents. That's stones.
That's such a Billy Mack story, if I've ever heard one too. Like, if there's anything I can ever imagine Billy Mack doing, that's it.
That's a conscious decision there?
You got to remember, like, my closet fills with this and Ursuline green.
I think that would have been more appropriate at that timing.
To be honest, it was probably one of those scenarios where I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm wearing Ursuline that day, and that's what I went with.
I can see Kate stopping you dead in your tracks and looking at you and saying, "That's what you're going to wear to meet my parents?"
She probably did, and I said, "Deal with it."
I saw yesterday, and Quinn can attest to this, Mac wearing jeans, and it blew me away.
Yeah, jeans.
But did he have like the leggings underneath the jeans?
Couldn't tell.
Okay. It wasn't true Mac if he didn't have the leggings on underneath the shorts or the jeans or whatever it is. He's always ready. He's always ready to jump into action.
That's right.
And that's what we love about him. Before we get too far into it, guys, we're not going to talk about expanded playoffs today. I think that horse has been absolutely whipped and devastated at this point. 3 hours on running point. But what we are going to do quickly is we are going to do the YSN rundown via the recorded version, and we're going to talk about the games at a glance here in a moment. So without further ado, here's your YSN rundown for the 23rd. What's up, everybody? DJ here with your YSN rundown for April 23rd, 2021. Let's get down to it. A lot of games on the docket tonight, and we start with softball. CJ Schroeds is going to have Padua Franciscan taking on the number one team in Division 3. It is the Ursuline Lady Irish, and that game is going to be on McCune. So we will have a little update from the tournament. Lady Irish coming off that walk-off yesterday against Hubbard, and Coach Kernan and the crew looking to keep things going and stay undefeated. Then we turn our attention over to the baseball diamond. We're at 5 o'clock. It'll be Austintown Fitch taking on South Range at the range. Brendan Miller will have the call for that. Also at 5 o'clock, Bristol at Hubbard. The A team of Jamie and Anthony Romo will have you covered for the Eagles baseball game. Champion at Camel, Andy will have you covered from Scene 3. I will be down with Tommy Pease in East Liverpool covering the Clippers, taking on the Potters. Big game in Columbiana County here tonight. LeBray at Brookfield. Jacob will have you covered with that. Then it's Mark with Alliance at Crestview. An interesting game there to see how these two teams stack up. One, a very young team in the Rebels, and the other one, a veteran presence with Gavin Bruni and the Alliance Aviators. So catch that one at 5 o'clock. Medina also taking on one of the top teams in the state in Canfield. Eric Hughes will have you covered from the Bird's Nest. Poland and Ursuline from Scene 1. Alec and Matt have you there. That game is going to start at 4:30, so a special start time for their first pitch scheduled at 4:30. 5 o'clock back on track. Ian will have Ravenna and West Branch as well. So the Warriors looking to do battle, and for all your other updates, additions, subtractions, multiplications, and divisions, we have you covered right here on ysnlive.com/live, as well as all the links to each and every one of our games this evening. And as always, for all your stats, information, stories, and just general updates, head over to ysnlive.com and find your favorite team on your favorite network. Until next time, DJ Yoakley saying, we'll see you on the diamond. All right, so we got all these games on the network again, and then here's the nice thing. I love when we have double-digit games. Like 10 should be the minimum for us whenever possible. I've related to Paul and Quinn, and we're back on track. After 2 days of just absolute dog crap weather, it seems like we're back on track here. 12 games on the network. We do have a softball game, and before we get to what happens tonight, Billy, take us through last night. You had one hell of a game in walk-off fashion.
Yeah, we're at Youngstown State University last night, and Ursuline, two YSN schools, Ursuline and Hubbard playing against each other. And Quinn and I talked about this. We did a couple Ursuline games. Is a lot of teams will lay down and die when they play Ursuline. You always have that big inning, and Ursuline never really had that big inning. And the Eagles, every inning that the Ursuline Irish scored, the Eagles would come right back and get at least one. So if it was two, it would always be one. You cut the difference in half, and they kind of hung around. And it was the first real test for Ursuline. They've had a lot of run rule games because the intimidation factor maybe plays into play. But you're talking about a veteran team who has high expectations of themselves in general. So and the number one team in the state. So everybody knows that. It's not a secret anymore. So there is a little bit of high hopes and aspirations for them. But when a team comes to play them, they have to play their very best just to be in the game with them and try to sneak away a victory until they're defeated. And so far, nobody has been able to at least take Ursuline to the brink. And last night, they were down they were up 7-3 in the seventh, and Emily Holland came in, gave up 2 runs. She was the pitcher for the seventh inning, gave up 2 runs right away. And Paige Ogden came right back in and immediately on, I think, the second or third pitch, gave up a 2-run home run to tie the game up. And the Hubbard Eagles went nuts. They were so excited, as they should be. A 2-run bomb from, I can't remember her name at the moment. My notes are somewhere in the house, but 2-run bomb, and that was able to, really spark them. And then unfortunately, come back. We talked about the Ursuline Irish. Their lineup is murderer's row 1 through 9, and it showed last night. The bottom half of the order kind of coming through for the Irish as a leadoff single, and then right behind it, the Ursuline Irish didn't mess around at all. A triple to score in the last run, the game-winning run, the walk-off run. So real exciting. Great softball all around. You've seen some good pitching at times. You've seen some power hitters. That was the one thing we talked about the other day about but maybe some weaknesses that the Irish had was potentially just power, just lack of power. And they hit 2 bombs last night. So, I mean, they're the number one team in the nation for a reason, and you're going to have to beat them. And the Hubbard Eagles were very close last night.
And I'll tell you what, the best part about it is sorry, I forgot to flip off the solo screen. The best part about it, Billy, was Emily Holland didn't get the start in the circle last night, but made her name known with that walk-off triple. And then after the game, I want you to take me. You took this picture, which is awesome. And here's the thing: is this is based off of the Joanne Kernan. It's like a cancer tournament. It's Strikeout Cancer Memorial Tournament, and these two teams. This is after a walk-off, and Ursuline was able to take some of the proceeds from this event and give it to a member. Give it to Hubbard with one of the members of Hubbard's softball team. Her sister, correct me if I'm wrong, is going through cancer right now. So this was probably one of the best reasons of why I love sports, like literally right now, and why it's so important to do what we do.
Yeah, it was so cool. I actually ran out of the dugout or out of the press box behind home plate to get this, and talked to Coach Kernan afterwards. One of the young lady's sisters, one of the players from Hubbard Eagles' sister, is battling through cancer at the moment, and some of the proceeds went directly to her. That was the envelope given there. From the tournament, and Coach Kernan talked about how it's important to give back. It's also important to teach these kids right and wrong, and it's in a world that we live in where a lot of things are given to people. You have to learn how to give back as much. So it's just a lesson that Coach is trying to teach his kids. And I'm not trying to undersell that at all. That is a powerful message that he did for his staff and his coaches and his players, and for Hubbard and just the Valley in general. It's a lesson that I think we can all learn from today going forward.
You know what's crazy, and I hate to bring this up, the difference in the genders from that standpoint, because if that was the same and it was a walk-off on baseball, I'd like to think that it would end up like that. You could take that picture, that group, but look at these smiles. Everybody in that picture is smiling. And again, that was a walk-off. The team just lost, and then they're handed – it shows you that girls at 14 to 17, 18 years old probably have a little bit better perspective on life than us guys, right? Because the guys are going to sit there like this in that picture if they just lost. And girls are smiling because they know it's a bigger scenario. So hats off, as always, to Coach Kernan and the Ysn program, and to Hubbard as well. Thoughts and prayers to that young lady, her family. It's just it gives you the warm and fuzzies. It makes you feel like there's hope in the world. You know what I mean? With all the bad news that we heard about yesterday with this celebrity and this guy talking about this and not having all the information and just popping off, like, throw that to the side and let's focus on this kind of stuff. I wish it was all about this stuff, and the news and the media would fill it with things like this, because this is what the world needs. We need hope. We need, this is how you do the right things, not how you do the wrong thing. So here's a question for you as we turn the page. And Mac, you did a fantastic job with that game last night. Somebody caught you though saying the 5-hole, and I guess it was the 5-6 hole or something. I don't know.
5-5 hole. 5-5 hole.
What's the 5-5 hole? Explain that to me.
It's the Tony Gwynn hole. Tony Gwynn made it famous because he would sit back he was a left-handed hitter, as you know, but some maybe viewers not. He would sit back, let the ball travel as deep as he could, and he would hit the ball in between shortstop and the third base. And that has been infamously called the 5-5 hole since the early 90s.
You got me, because I was taking fielding critics this morning that said it was the 5-6 hole because it was shortstop and third base.
It is not the 5-6 hole. It is the 5-5 hole. It's right in the middle of the two.
Do you have anything to say to your haters or critics?
Yeah, he does.
You can find me on Max Baseball Academy is my Twitter handle, and bring the noise if you want the noise.
Slam! Da, 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 da. Let's talk about this one. This is a game I'm really interested in tonight. Obviously, I'll be down in East Liverpool, but a game that I've got my eye on is this Austintown Fitch versus South Range game. Now, it's going to be played on grass. There were opportunities that Paul said that maybe they were trying to get it moved over to the turf, but ultimately the decision was made to stay on grass. Is there still a difference? You know what I mean? Is there a major advantage to playing all your games on turf and then going over and playing on grass, or vice versa? Yes, no, maybe so. I mean, Quinn, do you have any preference whether you see or play a game on grass or turf?
I could be wrong. I think Billy can correct it if he wants to, but I think there is a difference. I think just the way the ball bounces and the speed of everything in baseball and softball, for that matter, changes depending on the surface. And
so,
personally, I think it depends. Like, if you're a speed team, I think you would want to play on turf, wouldn't you? compared to grass?
I don't know, because baseball is different, right? Because baseball, your half of your field is usually dirt to begin
Right.
with. So I guess my question would be, if you're sitting in South Range's shoes, are you doing everything you can to keep this game at South Range because you don't want to
Yeah.
play on, a disadvantaged game with a team that plays almost 80% of their games on turf?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to play at home. I don't want to travel. It's a home game for me. I want to stay at home. That's first and foremost. And then, yeah, if you're playing a team like Fitch who plays on turf, I'd rather make them play on grass.
Okay. Alec, how about you?
I agree there. Like, home field advantage is real. So if you have the option to play at home, play at home. Like, and the grass versus turf, I would feel like a grass field, like you would know where all the divots are in the field and everything, So, I mean, I would think that if you're playing home, keep it home as long as you can,
Man, if we had somebody that looked like Kelly Kapowski, wouldn't it be a perfect time to send her into the G Burger Studios? Ty, how about you? I mean, you're the Fitch announcer. I mean, this could have been yours. They were trying to get this game, from what I hear, moved to Fitch. Is Fitch a better team on turf than they are necessarily on grass, or are they the same team?
You could tell too, because it's not just turf grass, it's turf dirt too. So the whole field at Austintown Fitch is all turf. So all these balls that are being hit on the ground are taking much cleaner hops too. They're not taking the wicked hops because they're not hitting some divot in the infield or some divot in the grass or something like that. No, they're all taking fairly clean hops. And we've seen that too. Fitch traditionally this year has fielded a lot better at home than on the road. More errors on the road than at home. And also, Fitch fans have been traveling extremely well. I mean, every single home game, whether snow, rain, or sun, there's always a good amount of Fitch fans in the crowd supporting the Falcons. So I don't blame the South Range Raiders for wanting to keep it home, because why would you want to put yourself at a disadvantage like that?
I can agree with that. Now we go to the main opinion over here. I can't wait for this hot take. Let's go, Mac.
I got a couple different things I'm gonna kind of spew out here. First, you're gonna get natural hops on a turf. So defensively, you shouldn't have any errors. Like when we take teams to play on turf, our kids love it because defensively, and our pitchers love it because there shouldn't be an error in the game defensively. Throwing errors happen and whatnot, but like you're going to get clean hops that are super readable. The only thing is when the ball's hit into the outfield, it is so fast and it will run. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Ball in the gap, it might be a triple compared to a double because that ball is going to keep going all the way to the fence. Unless, of course, fielded. With South Range, I mean, does anybody here blame them if you're scheduled a home game? Is it like we're just going to give up guys, we'll go play because it's underneath the lights? No, we're not. Nobody's doing that. So I mean, hey, good try, but you're not gonna. That's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. The other thing is, I have a hard time playing at Fitch about from 6:30 to about 7:30 because the sun is directly into the pitcher and the fielder's face. So we played a game there years ago, so I can tell you this by experience. My pitcher got hit in the face with a ball from home plate, throwing the ball back to the catcher, or from the catcher throwing to the pitcher, because he never saw the ball. Okay, and in the outfield, that same game is a fly ball. A kid was running in because he thought it was a strikeout. So it's real hard around that time to play a baseball. I mean, they're going to play games there. I'm not saying they should never play games there. I mean, you deal with it's the elements. You just deal with it, right? But I'm just saying that could be some of those kids played for me at that time. So they experienced that as well. So maybe they have kind of said, hey, that's a bad time to play at Fitch around that time. So because of the sun and whatnot. So maybe that was in play. That's just a guess. That's just my experience with it. But it is really tough to play at that time. So there's just a couple of different opinions thrown out by me.
Great takes. But I know, talking to Mark and to Mr. Russo, that I think they're putting a screen, some kind of sunscreen or visor or whatever they want to call it, so that way that goes away, because that has been a problem that is being addressed at the moment. So as beautiful as it is, it like from an announcer standpoint, from people, you just go, well, just flip it, just flip it around and you're good. Like, you're A-okay. But easier said than done, right? It's an easier situation because you also got a school sitting in left field at this point that, foul balls start peppering the school. Then you got a few more insurance issues than you had in the beginning. So, Coach, your take on this? I mean, you guys still play on grass at Sebring. Would you rather have turf?
So my desire for turf comes from kind of a selfish standpoint, and the fact that the maintenance would be a little bit easier. I spent the first 2 years of my career lining the field myself and doing all that stuff, and then really just from a logistical standpoint of being able to practice on the field every day. Currently we're kind of limited on space where we're located, and so we end up on our game field a lot of times, and it can get a little bit torn up in certain spots, so we have to be real conscious about moving around and making sure we're in different spots. But on the turf baseball fields, the question that I have, and DJ, you and I talked about it when we were out in Louisville, and then again when we were at Austintown, and maybe Mac knows the answer to this, is the mounds being turf. Is that just an entirely different situation for pitchers?
I hate it. Most turf places have not the majority of turf places that we go to, the mound is dirt, okay? And home plate sometimes is dirt, but not often. But the mound is usually always dirt. The idea that when you turf that spot on the pitching mound, there's basically a box built in, okay? And there becomes a hole. So if you go on the pitches right now, there's a hole. So it's hard to really fix that. So when it's clay and it's dirt based, you can go out there and you can fix it and you can tamp it. You can put more clay to it. You can adjust it. And you can make sure it's kept up right. You have to basically, with that being turfed, cut it away, take it out, and then you're in a bad spot. So that's why most places don't. They like a lot of college places like Kent State, not Kent State, Oberlin College that we went to 2 years ago. Everything is turfed, but the mound is nice and clay and dirt, and those are the better ones that you really like to go to. So. Plus, it's just better because you can wear metal spikes, and then you can plant, and you can pivot, and you can do all those things that on a natural field, it doesn't really affect the pitcher. Plus, maintaining it's a lot easier.
That's interesting. It's an interesting take. I never thought about that. I mean, if it's on a box, why is it just because of the turf being used so much?
You basically built a box underneath to create the mound, to create the height and the length of it. And then wear and tear, just landing, pivoting. And plus, they are going to have spikes on it, whether it's molded, plastic, whatever, and you're going to rip it away a little bit. It's just easier. Now, I mean, some people, there's pros and cons for it. Again, it's turf, so it's going to be, it's going to be dry for the most part while you're on there. But, to me, it ain't no shame in putting getting a circle tarp and putting it on the mound and keeping it that way until it's time to play the game.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about actually have it, because, I mean, just from the aesthetically pleasing portion of the show, I think that the turf mound is a lot prettier to look at from an announcing perspective, but I get your point. I never thought about the wear and tear from it, especially I knew that there was the box underneath it, right? It's wood a lot of times. The only question I had was, does the wood wear away because it's the water seeps through it, right, and builds up mold or just breaks down the wood over time?
Again, I talked a little bit ago about pitching. We were talking, I think that was Monday or Tuesday. The violence of landing,
sure,
will separate that wood. We'll crack that wood. We'll move that wood.
Yeah, and it's going to stay soft because it's never going to be fully baked out because you've got the turf over top of it. Right. I mean, I could be talking out my ass right now, but it makes sense in my head, But I think you're right. I think the having the clay and being able to tamp it between games and make sure that the upkeep is, you just do it after the game and it's done. It's over. Yep. But like, who were we talking to that didn't like it because the dirt flies all over the turf? And
we're talking about a small percentage. Okay, we're talking about a small percentage of dirt. Really, we're not talking about if the bases were dirt. Like remember the old Twin Stadium?
Yeah.
When you had the AstroTurf, where every base was dirt and then home plate was dirt in the mound. We're not talking about all that. If you did all that, then you would have cause for pause because there would be so much dirt kind of flying around. We're talking about just the mound. How much dirt is going to really affect the rest of the playing field?
Right.
See, I always like that look. of the bases being dirt and the home plate and the mound being dirt. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times, like some places will have the turf and it'll be brown painted. So at least you get that feel to it. Now, not everybody does that. I mean, obviously, we're talking about money that we will never have. So we're not building a stadium or nothing. But, in the perfect world.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. You never know. But, we're talking about somebody else's money at this time. So, I mean, it's a paint. So whatever you want to pay for the paint, you could do that to make it pleasing for Coach.
Matt's going to go sell the advertising rights and the sponsorship rights to the YSN Dome. That we're going to start inviting teams in. There will never be a game or a day that we don't have something going on. So, interesting. So let me ask you this, from a perspective of just personal preference, would you guys rather have a turf field? If you were building your own stadium, would you rather have an all-turf field so you can play through the rain, in most circumstances, through the snow, all the garbage that we've had to deal with over the last 7 days? Or would you want to keep it natural? Would you want the natural dirt, natural grass to have that fresh cut smell of the grass and all the dirt that is associated with baseball and softball? Let's go reverse skate on this, Coach.
Yeah, I'm a purist. So, from a football standpoint, I want a true grass playing field, but I want it to be perfectly manicured and well maintained. Like the NFL stadiums that you see that have this just unbelievably manicured grass, or when we were over at PNC, the way the grass was just perfect everywhere. But again, that's time and upkeep. So for me, I like playing games on grass.
All right, I can respect that. Billy Mack.
All right, so is money not an option here? Is that where we're kind of
going? Yeah, absolutely. You get what you want.
If money's not an option here, I think for me as a baseball guy, natural grass. If we're playing at a professional stadium, even places like nowadays they have the crushed brick that helps kind of be the middle ground from turf to natural dirt and whatnot. So I would go natural all day.
All right. How about you, Ty?
Yeah, easily. I'm also a purist with baseball as well. I would definitely do the natural grass and the dirt, even though I understand why turf is implemented. It's a lot easier upkeep and everything like that. I still think grass and dirt is probably the most preferred way to play a game of baseball. It's just unfortunate because it does take time and upkeep. You got to manage the grass, you got to manage the dirt, and worry about all those things. But I definitely think natural is the best way to go.
All right, over to Alec.
I mean, I'm not a huge baseball guy like the rest of you guys are, but I mean, like. But it sounds like natural grass is the way to go. So I can't really make that decision. But natural grass just seems like the better option if money isn't an option, and it gets upkept. So
good take, Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, if money's not the option and I could actually hire somebody to do the manicuring and all that, then I'm going to go grass. If I have to do it, I'm going turf because I don't have a clue about how to manicure a baseball field.
And I am going to go turf just because I like the easy maintenance. I also think that you're going to get more games, especially if we're planning a stadium in Northeast Ohio. I think Austintown Fitch did it right. And they did it 100% all in, not only with their baseball field, but they did it with their football field and they did it with their softball field now. So you look at it, they're playing. I mean, we had no games on the network outside of Austintown Fitch the one day. So that alone tells me that there's opportunity for this guy if you do it right and bring more teams in and let more teams play. So if they're not playing at their home stadium, I don't know, $200 to play a game at our place. And you can play under the lights. You can have all-night tournaments in softball. You can do anything you want to do. So I'm taking turf, especially if we're building here in the NEO all day and twice on Sunday. So with that, we'll take let's check the comments here real quick before we take a break. Amo saying Akron soccer field is grass, and the old coach would go out with a ruler, and if it was correct, they had to cut it, and if the grass was bad, he flew it in from out of state. Looked like turf.
One of the sorry, Coach, you could go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it was an incredible field pitch.
The interesting thing about it too, and like I said, I understand the turf because it saves games because of the rain. But interestingly enough, when I went up to Hershey, PA, and I know they do this internationally too, high schools especially, because this is the level where we worry about. Because major leaguers can have the grass stadiums because they can afford to do the upkeep, obviously. But for the high school stadiums in Hershey, PA, and I know internationally, what they do is that after every 9 weeks, there's a break. So they cut out summer break entirely. And I think it's either a 3-week or a month-long break after each 9 weeks. So that way baseball gets shifted into the summer, and that they're playing high school baseball during the summer, so they're not in it as much as the rainy months. So that way they're able to have the natural grass, and they don't have to worry about as many rainouts. I don't know. It was just an interesting thing that made me think about it with the whole grass and turf debate, because there are other schools that do it differently out there too. And I just thought that was an interesting topic.
That I'm so confused. We've never talked about grass so much on this show that I'm so out of my element right now. But
what's your favorite type of grass? Is it a perennial rye?
No, that's Mac's favorite.
Billy Mac knows all about perennial ryegrass.
He knows all about it. Before we take a break, I want to let you and remind you that if you want to see the world in a different light, per se, you want to go over to bluewinks.com/YSN. Use the code YSNLive10 for 10% off of your entire order of your new Blue Winks glasses, guys. This set of glasses changed my life. I used to have headaches. I used to have all the issues. Couldn't sleep very well because I'm looking at my phone all day. I'm looking at the notebook all day. I'm looking at all this stuff. Everywhere you look is a television screen with that blue light. Now, if you're not wearing Blue Winks, you are getting that blue light right on your eyes, and it's causing eye fatigue. It's causing all kinds of issues. So make sure you go over to bluewinks.com/YSN and use the 10% code YSNLive10 to take 10% off your entire order and change the way you look and feel every day, starting, as soon as your first pair comes in. Order a pair for the entire family and get 10% off your entire order. That's bluewinks.com/YSN and use code YSNLive10. We'll be back after this on the YSN Power Hour. Come on, commercial.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
"60 years ago, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods began with 3 siblings, a hand-set sawmill, and a few local orders. And while business has certainly changed over the years, what has not are our principles of hard work, craftsmanship, and commitment to quality. At Baird Brothers, we're proud to put our name on the products we create, from moldings and doors to flooring and lumber. Thank you for 60 great years. We look forward to 60 more. Baird Brothers, for the place you love."
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley here. Let's bring in the boys. There we go.
Before we move on, can I
what?
bring some up?
Sure.
Before we move on. Ty, you said Pennsylvania started later than Ohio so they can get in the summer months. Is that what you said?
I didn't say Pennsylvania. I said Hershey, Pennsylvania. The town of Hershey itself has a very privatized school that the owner of Hershey, the chocolate factory, put a huge fund in to have all those schools built. And the high schools, after they graduate, they get free tuition to any college that they want. So it was just Hershey, PA. It wasn't PA in general. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you said PA, and I was like, that. I didn't know if that was right, so I went and looked at. I was like, I'm pretty sure my girls that from PA started.
No, it's not all PA. It's just Hershey, PA. They're very privatized.
All right, sounds good.
Well, Mac, I hate to kick you in the boys twice in a row here with that, but it's time for the Padres update with Billy Mack, and go ahead, red carpet.
And they won last night, 3-2, so we're good. 3-2, beat the Dodgers last night. So we're living good.
What's the record now?
Today. What is their record? They won last night. That's all that matters. We live in the here and the now, not in the past. Guys are getting healthy. We're making waves. We're moving forward.
Wow.
What's the Tatis error count up to?
Tatis is fine. Relax.
Talk to us in July.
Talk to me in July.
Yankees won yesterday. Anybody want a Yankees update here?
No.
The Yankees beat a minor league baseball team last night, so that was cool.
Okay, can we get to this? I've got this, and I talked to Scotty and Super Dave on Wednesday about this. Where do the Indians fans and Indians get the right to say that they're a minor league baseball team now? You were in the World Series how many years ago, and now you're going to cry poor?
I'm not even crying poor. I tell everyone, wait till July, and I'll stand for it right now. I think we'll still be competitors for the playoffs at the end of the year.
They're in second place in the division right now, but
we're 8-9. Everyone else is around the middle of the pack. I'm not at all worried about the Cleveland Indians. I think we're going to be making playoff contention. It's just hitting needs to come around. I think our pitching's there already.
Can I tell you something that's crazy about the Indians, though? I heard I was digging through the rabbit hole of the internet yesterday, where the Indians have offered an extension to Ramirez about $200 million. Isn't that nuts?
Yes.
After you don't want that to get out after watching Lindor just walk away, right?
It's a bad look.
It's a real bad look.
It sounds to me like they went eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Because they're like 30, what is their payroll right now? 34, 36 million right now?
The lowest in Major League Baseball at $34 million.
Yeah, but that changes, and that changed overnight.
It all depends on how much you want to open up your pockets, too. Season to season, it doesn't matter. There's not a cap.
They cut $100 million from last year's payroll.
And how much of that was our friend who's now playing in New York, Mr. Lindor?
Not that much, because
not that much. He was like 11 million, 12
so
million.
who they cut that was that much?
25 was the first baseman. Carrasco was making 17.
Carrasco was 17. 25 was Santana.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, Lindor's batting 204, and our starting shortstop's batting like 258. So I'm all right.
How's our starting first baseman doing?
Come on, Ty.
No, but I mean, honestly, if I'm going, I mean, I don't think Lindor. I mean, it's a blow to the Indians, but I don't think it's as big as everyone makes it. Like, I know everyone knows, like, this guy was a huge face of our franchise, but I honestly don't think his offensive production is missed as much on this team as before. He batted
what step are you on? Is this step 3 of denial or what?
No, I mean, he batted 258 last year. All I'm saying is,
how many home runs is he hitting? That production from shortstop is not going to be 25 to 30 home runs.
I'm not saying. I mean, it's not. You might not get the power production from it. You might not get
90 to 100 RBIs though, somewhere in that ballpark.
In the leadoff power to hit a home run to start. I mean, that was, to me, that was his biggest plus was you start a game with Lindor, you got the best leadoff, one of the best leadoff guys in the game, because he can start with a home run and you're already up 1-0 before you even put your ass in the dugout.
I think a lot of times they had a weird lineup all the time. Like that lineup always seemed to change. Like one day Lindor was the leadoff hitter. The next day Santana was the leadoff hitter.
Second maybe to only, what was it? No, it would have been 2019 to the Cubs, because Rizzo was the Cubs leadoff hitter, which I loved because it was like a slow pitch softball lineup from the Cubs.
You see him hit a nuke yesterday. Speaking or not nuke, Baez hit a nuke yesterday and then hit left-handed. He's not a switch hitter just because they were up so much and flew out to the wall.
I hate that. Because you know what? I would have put one in his ear hole and been like, "Get your ass over the other side."
Yep.
Then why do infielders come in to pitch? So it's one of those things too. Like,
no, well, you're saving an arm. What is Baez gonna get by batting left-handed?
They're just, you know.
He's being a dick, is what he's being. I mean, like, and you can't do it in high school because you don't want to throw it. But like, people would do that in high school. And as a catcher, and I can say this now because the statute of limitations is well over, is you throw down the old number one, but it's not. You can take your guess of which number one I'm throwing down for this, and because we had kids do that, they're either up by this many or down by this many, but usually it was up, right? So you sit there and you go, "Oh, okay, are you a switch hitter? Nope, you guys suck. So this is what I'm doing. We're that good and that confident that I can go on the other side." Well, guess what, buddy? If I was on that mound, you would wear one in the ear hole. And if you're a professional doing that, you should. Because that's a complete disgrace. That's a complete disgrace. That's like not wearing a helmet out on the football field and being like, "Dude, you can't tackle me anyway, so I don't have to wear this."
Yeah. Yes.
Anything else? Nothing? You don't like that?
No, I don't. I mean, it don't matter to me either way.
I hate Baez drives me nuts. Like Baez, like I like Tatis. I just like busting your balls about Tatis. Baez drives me nuts. The Cubs, they win one World Series 10 years ago, and all of a sudden, like they're what? They haven't done anything since. Nothing. But they
haven't been very good. I mean, and to me, I think Joe Madden is the most overrated coach in baseball. And I think a lot of that team was put together before they were on the path. Whether or not they would have got over the hump, I'm not sure. Maybe it was right case, right time, whatever with Joe Madden. But he left, and a lot of those guys are still there, and they're not interested in winning baseball anymore. The Cubs are.
No, because they won. They reached the pinnacle. They're a bunch of prima donnas, and like Rizzo. Chris Bryant.
Rizzo. There's something about, I don't know if it's just his face, but there's something about Rizzo I just don't like. I don't like Rizzo for whatever case. I know he poo-pooed on Cleveland right after. Maybe that's what it is, but there's just something about Rizzo I don't like. Now,
how do you feel about Kyle Schwarber?
I hate Kyle Schwarber.
I think we'd be all good if the Cubs.
His fault. Like, I respect his game. Like, all right, he's an okay player. He's not a great player. He's an okay player. He's an okay player in a league where he'll be around the league because designated hitters are allowed. If he had to play a position his whole career, he would not be Barry Bonds.
Who are we talking about here?
Play right field.
He's talking about the Indians.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I do think, I just to kind of go back to that point too. I think people need to chill out on the Indians trying to call them a minor league baseball team. We've been one of the most successful baseball teams in the MLB in the last decade. And
okay, but can we at least admit that they've got a minor leaguer playing first base?
He's there in place until Bobby Bradley comes up. I think they're exhausting all their options. I think Bobby Bradley is going to be a really good hitter.
Then why isn't he? And listen, I get it. I'm a Pirates fan. I understand all of it about the exhausting and all the arbitration stuff. Get him up. If he's better, you're just costing yourself wins.
That's just Terry Francona, though. He's always been one that he even self-admits that he waits too long on some guys, and he's too patient with guys to a fault. And I think he doesn't want to give up on Jake Bauers right now because that's the likely guy to go. He's going to hit the free agent market then, and I don't think he wants to let him go because I think he just wants to be patient with him. But I personally want to see Bobby Bradley up. I would like to see him up by May at the very latest, honestly.
So
well, Michael Page, you're right. They are supposed to call Bradley up next month. But as we all know that Poe famously says, you can't win the division in April, but you can lose the division in April.
Here's again. I hear this all the time with the Pirates. And listen, I'll give a ton of credit to Ben Cherington right now for the Pirates because he's like, all right, you're hitting a buck, whatever, see ya. Like, we don't want you. DFA'd Alford, DFA'd Fowler yesterday. For once, the Pirates have a GM with a set that goes, listen, buddy, you can go hit 125 for somebody else. Like, see ya. And the Indians are the team that's like, we're just going to hang on tight for a little bit. If it costs us 7 losses, it costs us 7 losses. Like, those 7 losses, that's where this point comes in. Like, if you're not putting your best team on the field now, why not? Like,
well, and it's just an extremely bad look out of an organization that already angered its fans based on letting Lindor walk.
Yeah, and it's just compounding, right? From that standpoint. I mean, Billy used to be one of the biggest Indians fans that there was out there, and now we all know he's with San Diego or Slam Diego or Air Diego or whatever they're going to call themselves this year.
Hey, who do you think the biggest, if you as an Indians fan, I mean, everybody here is for the most part has either rooted for or been a part of some really good Indian stuff. So who do you think the biggest star that was let go that was super missed from the Indians fan base or from the roster?
Manny Ramirez.
Yeah.
You think Manny? I would say Manny too because I was diehard Manny. I think a lot of people, fan favorite, would probably say Tommy, but Tommy came back. So maybe he made that amends.
Tommy played until 2001, too. He played through all the golden years. Cleveland was at its tail end of its run when Tommy left anyway.
I think that if Manny Ramirez is a part of that team, which obviously he was never going to be, if he's part of that Indians team, that nucleus, I think that you've got a World Series championship.
Yep.
Easily. I'd say easily.
Well, I'm not going to say easy when it comes to Cleveland and championship ever. So
I think they just always make the wrong move. Like they always make the wrong move, and it's like, and again, as a Pirate fan, when I changed my allegiance back to the Pirates from the Indians, it was like, okay, you're going from a team that just gave up Victor Martinez because you're mad to a team that stinks like every year. But I just had enough. Bell, Lofton, Ramirez, Tommy, like name all these guys that were like the 1990s were based off of, like the high of my baseball life in Little League and into the going into high school. Like they were all gone.
Yeah, the Justice trade. I mean, I really love Justice.
Yep.
The Justice Marquise Grissom trade coming in was weird when you lost Lofton because he did everything you asked him to do plus some, right? Defensively, he was great. He was on base percentage was really good. Stole a lot of bases. Had an okay arm, not a great arm. Probably more close, better than Johnny Damon's arm, but like not like Ken Griffey Jr. or Willie Mays type arm, right? So you're somewhere in the middle, average arm. He did everything he wanted to, and that was a guy that you got rid of.
Did you say Ken Griffey Jr. in great arms?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
To kind of comment on what Amos said too, I think that trade actually worked out for Cleveland. I mean, they were able to get Michael Brantley out of it, and I think that's one thing we don't give Cleveland enough credit for. They make and have had a record recently, and even throughout the '90s, of making some fantastic trades.
Yeah, that they've also made some dog crap trades too.
Oh no, they have.
I think Lindor, the haul for Lindor was hot garbage,
underwhelming at best.
We'll have to see, though. I mean, it all depends on how everything plays out.
Got a pretty good haul. Cliff Lee, they got a pretty good haul. They got some.
We got Mike Clemens here for Vinny Pastano, straight up from the Angels.
Yeah.
What was the one last year? Was it Bauer that you got the huge haul for? Franmil Reyes.
Franmil, yeah, that was a big one. I like that trade a lot.
But but GMs are in a situation like athletes are. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. You know, a lot of it depends on the market, right? So you're always in the market for pitching, but for a starting shortstop that's going to cost you $300 million, there's not a whole lot of teams and there's not a whole lot of market for that. So
Rob, Cleveland also showed their hand by saying they were going to trade Lindor, so that value also dropped. They should have traded him probably a year prior if they wanted a large haul for him.
There was still 4 or 5 teams. There's probably only 5 or 6 teams that were going to pay for that. And
I
realistically,
agree.
there was 3 that would have made a move for him.
But let's be honest though. They played 60 games last year. They've got a stretch of great players on their roster. Why would they trade one of their best players on the roster if you've got a chance to win a championship?
Exactly. They just went to a World Series in 2016 and were the favorites in 17, lost early. So 18, they put some pieces together to make a run. And then last year it was what it was. So waited till, what were we supposed to trade him after you went to the World Series?
Yeah, right after.
No,
Right
but
after.
they should have traded him. Had they moved him in the middle of last year, I think they could have got more for him.
But what? No, because you're in a short season. Your
still-
market is so slim because you've got 60 games and 20 or 30 games in if you're going to be contending for a title.
Obviously, hindsight's 2020 as well. We didn't know the pandemic was happening in 2020. So, I mean, really, if you want to look back on it, the Indians' best realistic window would have been right between the 2019 and 2020 season to move Lindor prior to the whole pandemic happening. It should have happened sometime in January if you were going to do it. But
It should have happened before he got to the parking lot after they lost the World Series. They just, all right, man, you're gone. See ya. Like, you're headed out to Tampa Bay. We got an entire minor league system for you. So, I don't know. I mean, I think the Lindor loss is going to loom for a little bit. And I think there's people, Ty, I can appreciate your defense of, our guy's batting 258, he's batting 201. There's a lot more.
there's a way more baseball. I'm not saying anything like that, but
Unpopular opinion here. Bauer will have a better career than Francisco Lindor.
Oof.
Trevor Bauer?
Bauer or Bowers?
Trevor Bauer.
How do you compare those two?
I mean, I guess it's hard.
Are you looking at like hardware? Are you looking at like Cy Young's MVPs, like hardware, like certain things, like most strikeouts in a season? Like you talking about like accolades like that?
Sure.
That's not fair.
What?
That's just not fair. Like, you can't put Trevor Bauer in the same sentence as Francisco Lindor.
Michael Page.
Michael Page is over here saying that Francisco Lindor is Jesus. That's basically what he's been saying for like 2 months. So I'm saying Trevor Bauer will have a better career.
I don't understand.
Yeah, you just confused everybody, dude. If you said Tatis versus Lindor, I can say okay, because they play the same position. They're both positional players, but you can't put a pitcher versus a position player.
Why not? It's still the same game.
No, it's not. One plays every 5 days, and the other one plays every day. How about who's more influential, Steven Gostkowski or Tom Brady?
That's Gostkowski, 100%.
Shut up, Quinn. Nobody cares about it.
100%.
Why not? Burbick, be quiet. There's cows that need milking.
I definitely think Justin Tucker is going to have a better career than Greedy Williams when everything's all said and done. I think there's going to be better numbers at the end of it.
I don't know.
I would agree with that.
Let's speaking of Greg Burbick, let's get to our G Burbick Farms. What's your filet? What's your beef? Don't cut into the promos, man. They pay the bills, so you can have your stupid opinions about pitchers and shortstops. Let's get to the G Burbick Farms. What's your beef? What's your filet? Brought to you by our friends over at G Burbick Farms. Visit them on the web at gburbickfarms.com or on New Buffalo Road. They're open tomorrow 10 to 4. Get down there and get your beef, like we have on the Ysn Power Hour. Quinn, beef, filet, giddy up.
Just a filet. Good buddy of mine, Simon Harris, just got hired as the new head women's basketball coach at East Tennessee State University. So congratulations to him.
Congratulations. Alec, the quiet man.
I've got a filet today. As of yesterday, I officially got accepted into YSU.
Hey!
So there's that. So I'll be going there next August, or this coming August, I guess. So that's my filet today.
Just make sure Kelly Kapowski isn't there, or else we're going to have a Saved by the Bell reunion. On to Ty Bartell. What do you got, brother?
My filet is easily Billy Mack today. I miss our banter, our arguments, and our conversations, and I haven't been able to be on Power Hour as much as I like to in recent weeks, so I'm glad to get back and get back to my banter with Billy Mack.
Welcome back, homeboy, and we miss it as well. And there's no Power Hour without Billy Mack. What is your filet? What's your beef?
We're supposed to do filet and beef today?
All right.
My filet today is I am a week away from my season this year for my 12Us, and then the 18s will be in the summer, but 12U baseball is starting next Friday.
Very cool. Good luck. Congratulations. And Coach?
Yeah, I'm going with a beef today, and I got called out by somebody who shall remain nameless for my appearances on the Power Hour looking like I've got severe ADHD and constantly looking down and looking around and just not paying close enough attention directly into the camera. I'm multitasking over here. I'm doing a little bit of research so that I make sure when we get to me on a topic, I try to have something semi-intelligent to say about it. So it's not ADHD, it's not ADD, even though I'm pretty sure I suffer from one or the other.
Just wing it.
It's me trying to be prepared for you guys so that I can make the show more valuable.
Love it. All right. Check in real here. Speaking of which, hit me up to golf at Berlin.
Not a sponsor yet. Not a sponsor yet.
Get that out of here.
Call me. No, not a sponsor yet.
I'm gonna go filet today, and it's just the weather's back, man, and it's supposed to be 70 next week again, and we're getting back to normalcy, which is not the norm here in Ohio. So looking forward to 12 games tonight here on the network. One already underway with YSU. Richie's got that covered. It might even be over by now, but good luck to YSU as they set a 4-game series this weekend, and hopefully Coach Bertolini and the boys can straddle up on second place in the Horizon League. So excited for that. Look at this. I got 200 to make us one. All right, we got a new sponsor. Everybody get down to the Berlin Lake Golf Club because that's where Hamo's going to be, and you'll find us there from the from YSN. We'll do a remote down at the Berlin Lake Golf Club, so we're excited. 3-3 top of the 8, says Steve. So that means we're in extras.
Yes,
you know what that means? That means that there's a double header here tonight. So the other one, does that mean the innings go down for the second game?
No.
2 sevens, I think.
2 sevens.
2 sevens? Okay.
No, this isn't high school night 5-inning doubleheaders.
I did get caught off guard the other night when the Pirates played a doubleheader against, I forget who it was, and they played 7, and I was like, wait a minute, where's the rest of the game? And I was like, oh, damn it.
I'm cool with the 7-inning games or doubleheaders for Major League Baseball.
I like them. I didn't like them on the radio because I was listening to my the greatest announcer of all time, Greg Brown.
Tom Hamilton.
Tom Hamilton.
No.
Yeah, Tom Hamilton. That had to have been who you were listening to.
We all know it's me and Billy. Come on.
The 5-5 hole.
Yeah, I didn't know what that
Tom
was.
Hamilton is used the 5-5 hole.
The 5-5 hole. You got called out, buddy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had no idea what the hell a 5-5 hole was.
We're about to see posts on Max Baseball
I
Academy.
think that's bad. I've called Billy out during games.
Stevie says 2 7-inning games now. Turner Graw, 2-run home run in the bottom of the 6th to tie. That's Turner Graw down in Louisiana. Turner Graw.
You've been educated on the 5-5 hole.
Yeah.
Billy's a special kind of hole.
That's gonna do it. Perfect wrap on this show. We'll see you we'll see you on Monday for the Power Hour. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. Remember, 12 games on tonight on YSN. Get them all and get them all for free. Wave the flag.